Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the WGL EU Week 10 match day number 1. Man, how do you follow up on our last match? Man. Ding versus Penta. It was incredible stuff. I mean, how do you follow up on this now? I mean, we've got two teams now, 5th and 6th place. Utopia going up against Kazna. Two teams that really want to give themselves a good shot in towards these playoffs here. I mean, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
I mean, it should be a good match. This was actually my match of the day for sure. I mean, it was a complete coincidence that Penta and Ding was such a good matchup. I mean, this one theoretically is very close. You can see Utopia and Kazna Crew right next to each other on that leaderboard. Kazna Crew 5th, Utopia 6th. So it should be a good one. Again, these two are in pretty good position to actually go to those playoffs right now. But a win would definitely cement that, as Kazna Crew have had 2 losses in a row right now. Of course, in Super Week, they lost against Team Supreme. So they do need to put one on the board. Yeah,
no, let's discuss this as well. Utopia went up against Rocks, of course, during our Super Week, and were beaten quite badly. It was not a good game for them at all. It was not pretty. Definitely things weren't going on their way. The Himmelsdorf play was average. That's being nice about it. It was average. So, I mean, they've got to bring things back here. And Kazna as well, as both these teams coming off disappointing losses. Kazna, of course, went up against Supreme, a game that we had touted as the game of the season. And it really didn't quite deliver in that way. No, there were some close rounds, but I think Team Supreme just, they're online champions, these guys, Schoolbus and GG Well Played players, from previous seasons. They just came together. They're very good online, and they managed to get some good convincing rounds on the board. But if we're going to draw comparisons, we're going to be moving on to Ruinberg as our first map. Now, when Kazna went up against Supreme, they lost 3 out of 4 rounds on this map, quite disastrously as well. Like some very shaky rounds for them. So this could actually be, their Achilles heel, and where Utopia could actually walk away with a good scoreline. Interesting fact here: Kazna Crew in their last 3 Ruinberg matches have gone 2-2. However, the Utopia in their last 2 have gone 3-1, then 1-3. Yeah. So yeah, both these teams, like Kazna Crew, that sort of grind through Ruinberg and have successful defensive sides normally, and their attacks are a little bit weaker. Whereas Utopia, sometimes the results are a bit more skewed. I mean, they went 3-1 against Supreme on Ruinberg when they played against them, so it was a good showing from them. And then against Ding, they went 1-3. It was really average here. Melly. Of course, we've got Kazna, everyone's favourite team. Definitely a big fan base there as well. But Utopia have earned their stripes. They've earned their place in this season here as well. And, I mean, they've had some good games. They've had some upsets as well in the earlier weeks. It's going to be a cracker of a match. Absolutely. But as you said, Kazna Crew having a huge fan base out there. And, of course, those votes are always very shifted in one direction. And it's 89% for Kazna Crew. And people, if you haven't voted yet, now is your time to shine. Head over to facebook.com/WGLEU. Vote for your favorite team and predict the exact scoreline for this matchup in order to win maybe bonus code, or maybe not. Maybe the next vote will be better then. But as said, get involved. The first 3 correct predictions, the fastest 3, will be rewarded with a bonus code containing 500 gold and 8 premium days. I don't know why I struggle so much with those bonus codes. 8 premium days, 500 gold. It's not too hard. And holy, I just saw something popping up on my Twitter feed. I will retweet it. So head over to twitter.com/WGLEU. And Mitch is already on it, but that's not the one I was looking for. But yes, as said, I will just retweet it in a second so you can check it, and maybe Mitch is fast enough, maybe not. Use the hashtag WGLU to tell us what's on your mind, and also get awesome fan art to us. That's not the one I meant, but that's the problem crazy is if it's got a GIF in it, I can't open it as a tweet, so you can't see it. No, talking about that picture. This one here. Yes. That's kind of cute. That's a cute picture. Yeah. I like this. It's a WGLU team. And someone drew it. I like that they got my head down to a T. That's great. I like it, actually. It's good. Yeah, you got the peak. Thanks, Midgie, as well. Like, he's frequent. You're like someone from only wears Essex, but, only wears Essex. Quality programming. That's where I'm going to go. Like, I'm actually going to go with D-Man as well when we're washed up and we're no good anymore. That's the end of the line for us. Water Tanks Caster, and then I'll be on the only way as Essex. You heard it here first. Towie is a great program. I don't know what you're talking about. It's quality programming. I would like to be on that one, basically, as well. Yeah, I more expect to see one Geordie Shore, to be honest. Geordie Shore. They have an Australian version of that now, I think, and an Irish and a Welsh version. Yeah, it was. Who on earth needs that? We all need a bit of Geordie Shore in our lives. Have you not just sat down and just watched trash television for like a week solid when you've been ill or something?
No. Anyway, we'll leave that away. Yeah, Utopia, Kazna Crew. Let's get back to the... You're not allowed to play games. You're too bad.
Oh, wow. And that from you, Ollie?
Hey, I'm great.
Oh, that's a dare.
All right.
Anyway.
I like to stay to the slower ones because I'm not very good at the fast games.
All right, let's have a look here. We did catch up with Vetso to get his thoughts on this match here.
We met Team Utopia last season for the first time in the Wargaming Net League, but now they are even better, so we need to approach this game cautiously and punish them fast.
As he said, Kazna have experience going up against Utopia. They're not an unknown factor for them. Not only have they seen them play, but they've experienced that firsthand. Yeah,
they've played in the last season, Season 5 of the Wargaming League Europe. So, they've got to get some experience. They play in Go 4s. So these two teams know each other. I mean, of course, Kazna Crew is a mixed team. Utopia's a Polish team. Utopia's made of a lot of the old school Polish players. So, yeah, they know each other for sure. I think that's why it's going to be a good game. The play styles are a little bit different. Of course, Kazna Crew are a little bit more innovative. Utopia like to stay to what they know. Okay,
well, it's time to jump into our first map for this particular matchup, Utopia versus Kazna, and it's all going to start on the map of Runeberg.
Runeberg, a mixed-type map. The defending team starts the battle on the green, and the attacking team starts at the central square of the town. Bases are located quite far from each other. Both bases are better controlled from the village. It's better to attack the first base through the top direction with the help of several well-armoured heavy tanks. For the attack on the second base, it's better to use a more mobile setup and either play through the centre or split forces. In general, the map is not easy to play on. Teams often use blind shots and risky shifting of the forces from one flank to another.
So that's what we're dealing with, of course, Runeberg. We've seen it quite a few times already this season. Not an uncommon map here, and both these teams generally, have played it a couple times as well. And it's always been very much a tug of war here. Let's talk about this as well, because we've seen some interesting strategies here, but teams on the attacking side generally find themselves up against quite a big challenge.
Hold that thought. Go back to Garage first, because we got a restart. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a game about the attack. We basically never see 4-0 scorelines on this map. It's always like a 1-3 or a 2-2. Theoretically, it should be 2-2 because the defensive side is a lot easier. 66 to 70% of the time, you see the defensive team pick up the win. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. Again, as I said, Kazna Crew looked weak. Utopia have looked okay on this map. I mean, just looking at the statistics, they're not too dissimilar. Kazna Crew 75% win ratio, about 70-75%. Utopia 61%. So pretty close on this map, and yeah, it should be interesting.
Okay, well, I mean, we just had a bit of a restart here. It was a... Nexus accidentally chose the wrong tank before going into this one here as well. So, obviously, teams submit their lineups to our admins before the game happens, and if they don't match them, we need to take us back out and go back in. So that's how we have this blind pick sort of, simulated here. All right, so, yeah, been disappointing loss to Supreme for Kazna Crew. They have a lot to prove now. They have to prove that they are that top 4 team still.
Yeah, and not just that. They've got to go and, get a playoff spot. So that's the most important thing. They just have a lot to prove. They've got a lot to lose.
Yep. For the reigning European champions to turn around now and miss their chance to be in the finals will be devastating. Kazna Crew have been a feature of every one of our season finals for many seasons now.
Yeah. I mean, literally since the beginning. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they've ever missed a season out to go to the finals. Sure, like at the beginning, I think for the first 3 seasons they didn't have good results. They always got to the finals, but then at the finals they're like a 5th or 6th place team.
They always got like last place. Or
then they signed. Then they just had like a snap where they said, okay, like we're Kazna Crew, we're this really famous clan in World of Tanks, but let's just take this a little bit more seriously. Let's just make sure we have every single player on point. Let's do some training, and it almost turned around their results instantly at offline finals, and managed to obviously be the reigning champions for Wargaming League Europe for Season 5. So. They got a lot to prove. They got a lot to do.
Here we go, though. Our first map here, Kazna Crew versus Utopia. Kazna are defending here, so ostensibly should have the advantage here. Let's see what they can do. As Hyber already looking to try and set some stuff up. He connected that shot, didn't penetrate with it though, but he's getting some good spots on towards lots of Utopia. So the movements here, with this heavy column of IS-3s, they've all been spotted out, and now Kazna have to respond. Yeah,
Utopia doing the standard IS-3 push a little bit more heavily than a lot of teams do. You often see teams just pick 3 IS-3s to push into that right side. So, Kazna Crew, they need to get control of that 0 line. That's why you see Yizny going on his lonesome, to try and keep that one safe and make sure that Utopia have to engage onto 2 fronts.
Yeah, this is not a bad positioning here. We see most teams actually, some teams push 2 IS3s up in this position and get them caught up in the corner, but it's a great spot for Isne if he can get there. Nexus opens up the account. Poto Mako, of course, the Polish veteran of Water Tanks, ex-EPS. He's been around for quite some time. He was even in Mouse Sports, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he's going to get taken down here. Let's see what Utopia can do without him. Not much. So look at the damage that's being done to these guys here. Kazna, getting those spots with Hyper out early. It's paying dividends right now. So much damage going across the board. Muka is really low. McMoney is also very low. The damage coming in thick and fast from Kazna, and they're not stopping.
Yeah, this is going perfectly for Kazna Crew. Very, very solid defensive round. There's nothing really going wrong. Hyper with his LTTB really punishing those IS3s from the side. They just need to continue this role.
Hunterzord looking for Isne here. Is Wicked now going to get up close and personal? Does cop a shot from that big IS3, but now has some time to abuse the reload of Isne, and he will get taken down there, forced onto his side, and Hunterzord will be able to punch through that shot with his own. But now only 4 tanks left on Utopia. It's been a very underwhelming attack for them here. They've got a lot of work to do here. Eurofish now going to trundle across the field. Alien always happy to get into a head-to-head now. He's going to force Hunterzord back as Evetso just inches around the corner. This man has done work. He's on reload and hasn't taken any damage, and that's normally a very good sign for a 5100. Now he's going to try and look for Hunterzord. He's taking a lot of damage here. It's consistent damage coming out from Wicked there in an MT25. Evetso just trying to make sure he can only be shot by 1 tank at a time.
Yeah, game over as Hunterzord falls, and obviously that's tier 6, the MT25 is the only one remaining. Wicked is playing that, so yeah, you'll see Hyper missing that shell, but he will eventually hit and finish this game off. As he does, Kazna Crew pick up the first defensive round, which is, to be fair, expected.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is Kazna Crew have a long history in this season of getting both defensive rounds and then falling a little bit flat on the attacking side. So, I mean, this is nothing to write home about here. This is nothing that we're not really expecting. What we want to see here is if Kazna can get that advantage on the defensive side and then show us some tactical genius here, some brilliance on that attack side. It's hard. Ruinberg is probably one of the hardest attacking maps right now in the league.
It's the hardest. It's definitely the hardest to attack on. It's super situational, and you know, you really have to get every single element perfect, and you also have to rely on the defensive team to make a mistake. And you got to consider as well, you know, Kazna Crew, the first time they lost a defensive round was against Supreme, which is their last match. And Utopia, as you said, 2 for 2, you know, 1 attacking round, 1 defensive round against Tornado Rock. So they got to, you know, those two have played the best teams in the league, you know, first and second, Supreme first, Tornado Rocks in second, and Utopia came out as a victor. So, you know, if you win on the attack, you always win by the slimmest of margins, and if you lose on the attack, you get absolutely trounced because you didn't get the execution at the very start right.
Utopia, they've had a tough few games. I mean, if you think about it, they're up against Kazna here. Last time they played are against Rocks, and before that they had to go against Supreme. So Supreme, Rocks, Kazna in 3 games for them. That's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an easy breeze for them as well. They've definitely had an easier start to the season, and they've only gotten 4 wins in that first sort of bracket. So it's not bad, but this is where they have to win games, and they were looking really good. They're up in 3rd place, 4th place. We're like, yeah, brilliant. You know, Utopia looking like they're the real deal, but look a little bit closer, and you can see that they still had their biggest challenges to come. Kazna is important. This is an important game, of course. You'll not be able to beat Rocks as well. Supreme, maybe not too much of a surprise here. Those are the top 2 teams, but you know, Kazna Crew, they're 6th and 5th on the ladder here. They're very close. Utopia can really mess up Kazna's hopes of getting that solid playoffs berth if they win here.
Yeah, and Kazna's been on a down and down at the moment. They've been losing games consecutively, so they do need to get this win. Just quickly going over the damage for the previous round before we go into next. Alien with 2.4k. Good to see him playing the IS3. I mean, we've seen him play the LTTP a lot in these matches on Ruinberg, so being promoted to a bigger tank is always good. He's a fantastic player. Nexus with 2,000 damage. Hyber with 1.4k in that LTTB. Hunterzord, the highest damage dealer for Utopia with 1,500 in his Russian tier 8 tank, of course, the IS3. As we do start to head and looking towards that second defensive round for Kazna and the second attacking round for Utopia.
For Kazna, it's going to be fairly standard, making sure they just satisfy all those requirements that they have for a successful defensive round. Dot the I's, cross the T's. It doesn't have to be anything flashy or special. Just get it done here, because what we're definitely looking for is to see if they can now make something happen on the attacking side. And conversely, Utopia won't be too surprised having lost that first attacking round, but they need to do something a bit different. Utopia have never been a team to favour lightweight lineups. They love heavy tanks. They love those big IS3s, 5100s, the traditional style of play. Very Polish style of play, to be honest, from what we've seen so far in this season. but they have to make that work for them right here. I mean, Dr. Akula tweeted at me, he bets 5-1 for Kazna in terms of the result here. So people definitely getting their votes in, and so far Kazna are off to a good start.
Yeah, on to a good run right now. You can see the double LTTB, the kind of trademark, the signature of Kazna Crew is being utilized. MT25 a wicket as he just ram his tank into the wall, but you can see Utopia with a very slow but pretty standard setup on Ruenberg, you know, making the spot in the middle with the MT25, which got away scot-free thanks to some misses to Kazna Crew. And they did some damage against Hyber in that LTTB. So Utopia have good information. Kazna Crew know that Utopia are going to go for the longer game this time round.
All right, it's just the lone LTTB now moving into that top corner for Kazna right now, and Hyber is just hoping to attract some fire here. Kazna know that Utopia haven't pushed up too aggressively here on this eastern side, so they're not really too concerned right now. They can sit back. The onus is heavily on Utopia to make the move here, and you can see they are doing that slowly, albeit they are getting their way over here. So the MT25, of course, a wicket is quite low after taking that shot from LD Nexus as he went down that sort of concentric outer road of the city. So Hyber now just trying to get some shots. He does spot Hunter's Ord there, or the Hunter's Ord is at least lit. He's over towards the middle of the city, and now a few shots coming out from wicket here. Ilian gets to finish, and a couple spots coming in here. Hyber's not really gaining too much information from this position, and the shots are coming in towards him. Yeah,
so you got Ilian in the IS3, just playing that middle area. Yizni's going to join Hyber. So right now, Kazna Crew are just trying to push Utopia out of the kind of key places on this map, keep them back. They've also sent the LTTB around from the top area. Nexus is exchanging well. So yeah, okay, Kazna Crew are quite spread out, and if Utopia can get themselves together and go aggressive, catch out Nexus, try and get into that middle area, I think it would go very well for them. But until then, Kazna's just going to be able to punish. They're going to keep themselves into good positions, and they're just going to keep Utopia on the back foot.
Utopia starting to run out of time, sticking down a bit now, under the 5-minute mark. We haven't seen any significant maneuvers or movements on the map here. And honestly, I see these tanks pulling back in the middle of the city. That last-ditch effort north push can get really messy, and rarely does it actually work out here, especially considering it's only Shukyu, I think that's in a lightweight here. So it's not a super fast lineup here for Utopia, featuring 4 IS-3s. So it's going to be tricky for them to sort of make their way across the map and sort of take Kazna by surprise. You can see here is the double LTTB set up in the north side, and neither Hyber nor FKK Schnitzel have spotted any of Utopia yet. So they really don't know what is going on. We do have 2 IS-3s from Kazna on the outer side. So they're just, you know, it's a very cookie cutter. It's an all-purpose setup here for Kazna. They just want to make sure they know what Utopia is doing, or at least they have time to respond to their movements. Yeah, it's all an information game. I mean, a lot of people think, well, the tanks is about damage, but it isn't. It's about spotting. It's about information. It's about knowing where the other team is. And you'll see a lot of the teams as well just, you know, making moves around the map without actually knowing where the other team is. They just do it purely based on instinct, purely based on experience and training. So that's why you can see Hyber and FKK Schnitzel up north, because they saw, okay, well, technically Utopia should already be here, engaging in the south, so where could they be? Well, they must be on the rotate through that northern area. So you have like a whole new dimension of tactics and, you know, kind of layer in World of Tanks when you don't have everyone spotted all the time, so you really need to make sure you're making the right moves all the time and you're getting yourself into good positions. But again, Utopia, they're running out of time right now, halfway through the match. They need to make a good concerted effort, probably up and towards that northern area, because the IS-3s would just take too long to rotate anywhere else. Yeah, the problem is, though, is that, you know, we saw Muka was spotted, and I think Shukyu in the lightweight was spotted. So Kazna had time. They moved they moved Nexus and Eurofish up in those IS-3s there. So they can sit tight around the corner, and Muka and Potomac have to take shots on the move to try and close the gap. It's just messy situation for them there. It's going to be quite hard here. So you can see the setup here, by and large, is just a passive one for Utopia. They realize that they actually don't have much idea of what to do here. They're not sure at all. Kazna Crew haven't had to do anything flashy to completely stifle out Utopia now, and they had to, you know, go for something. But problem is here, they're split on 2 fronts. They got a 5100 and I think another IS-3 on the southern side of the map, and now they're trying to push with the double IS-3 here on the north. I don't really see how that's going to work out for them. Yeah, Kazna Crew are set up perfectly for this. They got FKK Schnitzel in a great location. A bit overextension from him, but he gets away with it. Nexus is also joining Eurofish. The interesting exchange as well would be down the south, where the IS-3 and the AMX 5100 is. And to be fair, Yizni, he needs to actually move into this battle. Otherwise, it could be an overmatch for Utopia in that middle central area. Shukyu cleverly has also got a position here, so it is a 2v3. I mean, if you can FKK Schnitzel, I guess it's even, but Hyber now out in the field as well. Nexus got smashed there as well from behind. right. Papa Pavian did get a shot in towards him, I think, from the center of the map. So it's a very nice little crossfire set up towards Kazna crew. But Utopia are very, very low in health points here. This is going to hurt them at the moment. Tanks are fairly even. It is a 5v4 situation, though. So Kazna, with that advantage right now, FKK Schnitzel gets a finish on towards Shukyu. He's done a lot of work from that position. Props to him. And now Eurofish having to deal with Potomako. He's going to be able to connect that one, so he's definitely going to have to go down here.
That's actually a crucial kill for FKK Schnitzel. He had to take down Shukyu in the T54 so he can help Eurofish. If Eurofish bounces his next shell, he does actually bounce it because there's no kill. So this can actually be a kill here for Kazna crew and definitely securing the win against Potomako McMoney.
FKK Schnitzel doing so much work towards Potomako. He'll get the reload and he bounces another one off Eurofish there. 2 consecutive bounces. I mean, it gets tough. We actually played that in the office. We played IS3 battles, the 2v2 sort of scenario. And yeah, I mean, you've got to be so careful when you're up close. You can't just take the shot because it's very, very easy to bounce when you're right head-to-head with it. But I digress. Kazna crew, they've done it again. Another defensive round solid. They've gotten it done here. And Utopia seem very, very unsure. They don't seem like a team that's very comfortable at all attacking on Ruinberg. I see very minimal tactical depth here. Yeah, I mean, they came from every angle, which is, you know, a hard thing to do on Ruinberg. As you said as it says in the like introductory video, you know, you're putting tanks around the map. You're trying to get a lot of resources into a fairly small area. Yep. So you had a push from the south, which actually at the beginning went well for Utopia, and you had a push from the north, which just went disastrously for them. They had 3 against 3. FKK Schnitzel managed to take down the T54. I think Shukyu should have just been in there, punishing FKK, winning that duel. Instead, he got a little bit outplayed. You can see the damage there. Elian, 3.5k in his IR3. Massive round for him. And second, just behind FKK with 1.5k. So you could see those two really did pull out all the stops for that win. Yeah, and here's the thing as well. 10 shots from Elian, 10 connected, 10 penetrations. He did about 1,200 damage from a distance of 300 meters. So some good work as well, making the BL9. It's not super accurate, making it do work for him here. Did a great job. And this is that northern push that actually was okay because we did have Papa Pavian, and I think it was someone in the middle of the map as well, getting shots on towards the rear of Eurofish and Nexus. It looked like it was going to be ugly for them, but they forgot about FKK Schnitzel here. Yeah, they just left FKK Schnitzel because they wanted to get Shukyu into a good angle to take down Nexus and Eurofish. And also once he's in that northern area, he would have been able to punish either, he does actually punish either, but money takes him down, but he would have been able to punish Elian and Nexus and Yizny, who were really the big problem there for Utopia. Yes, okay, we were focusing on the fight up north because, you know, we can't have more than one camera angle at a time. But what really happened, what the really important part was where Kazna crew were basically holding the resources for Utopia in the middle, not letting them go and letting the northern tanks, the northern players do their job. And they did, and they really did. And Kazna can count, of course, on their teammates here to get the job done there as well. I mean, the middle push, it was like they were trying to assist the northern cap, but they made themselves quite vulnerable to the guys up in their village there as well. Sure. The Kazna crew, I guess, had everything covered there. And that's what we generally expect to see on Ruinberg. Now we have this 2-0 scenario, and this is where Utopia now have a chance to be the defensive team. They can set up, they can let Kazna crew push into them here. I mean, you still have to be, to some degree, a bit proactive here as Utopia. There needs to be some strategy, there needs to be some adaptability and responsiveness to what Kazna are going to go and try and do. But this is Kazna's game to lose right now. Historically, their attack sides on Ruinberg have been underwhelming, they've been a little bit uninspired, and they just have flat out not worked. Yeah, they've got to change that. They basically haven't won around on the attack in the entire 11 match days, and we've seen Ruinberg plenty of times this season. I mean, way too much in my opinion. Yeah. You know, they've played it a good amount, 16 times, 16 rounds, and haven't really won an attacking side. So it really does show you something. But you know, this is like match day 10. So Kazna crew desperately needs attacking round. If it's 2 for 2, fair enough. Like, that's good enough for them. You can't really complain about that if it's all even Stevens. But if they can get one of the next 2 rounds on the board, it would be amazing for them going to that second map. As we saw, you know, in that last battle between Penta and Ding, like winning a good advantage on the first map, on the kind of standard map, is actually super important down the line. Absolutely. It gives you a margin of error, it gives you a buffer, it gives you confidence, and it can definitely get into the opponent's head as well, because Utopia know that, you know, the attacking side is harder on Ruinberg. You know this, so you don't want to be tilted by sort of dropping important rounds or wagging my fingers here for effect, the easier rounds. But let's see what happens here, because Kazna crew now, here's the lineup for them. They've got the 30-90 thrown in there for Vetso. Utopia on the defensive side here. have got it all to do. It's their time to respond now to the bar that Kazna has set.
So you got the WZ131, hashtag WZ131. Hype. I do like...
That was so forced.
I do like that. Yeah, well, it's more sarcasm than forced. But I mean, it really...
Not a fan?
Not really. I'm not a massive fan of that tank. I mean, I do like to see variation, of course, you know, but we'll have to see how it works out. Typically, it's worked quite a lot. I mean, Penta used a couple of them, Ruinberg, and it did work out for them. So let's see what Kazna can do. FKK, it's all super aggressive, really aggressive, and does great work actually finding McMoney, finding where Utopia are. As Kazna, a very similar start to what Utopia did at the beginning, just setting up in that middle area of the IS3s and a northern push as well.
Great scout run there from FKK Schnitzel. He's revealed McMoney early on in the round, so he now has to invest health points into getting into that important spot in that bottom corner. He gets chunked quite heavily here, and yeah, Kazna crew now, they don't have to take as much damage. In fact, McMoney only might be able to get one shot instead of two if they're going to push over towards him and try and erase him from the map in that position. They didn't get him though, so that is something to note. Nexus takes a big hit there, forced to back away. Kazna crew were initially on the cap. They've sort of backed off it here. Two IS3s on the middle road. The 50-100 there, of course, being piloted by Elian. He's just sort of towards the back quadrant of the map. He's not really getting involved here. And Nexus is forced just to huddle back here. He's quite low. Yeah,
so what Kazna crew are doing is just pulling their tanks down south. I think they could have probably stayed up in the right side a little bit longer to take down McMoney. But the problem is, you know, a couple of bounces from Vetso. Of course, that's to be expected against the IS3. Basically let McMoney get too far forwards, and, you know, if Vetso had been spotted, the tanks in that right side village would just be able to punish him. Now, the most obvious move from Kazna crew would just be a complete rotation up north, have the IS3s go in the middle, and, you know, get good cross shots onto Muka and Potomac, who are sitting up north. So that's probably what Kazna crew will be looking to do within the next 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Okay, now they do have the flexibility that Utopia did not have on the attacking side. And what I mean by that is the 37, the 54 lightweight, and the 1390. This little impromptu wolf pack here that they've formed with these three tanks. And with those three tanks, you can do a lot of work. You can do a lot of work here, and it's really going to force Utopia to be very selective about their targets here. Now, FKK Stitzel going to move up towards that northern side. He will be lit. Only him at this stage, and the shot's going to be coming out. No connections that I can see. Nexus is low, by the way. He's been used now as a bit of an auxiliary, a bit of a support player in the 54 lightweight. Kazna were hoping to be able to make an entry in towards the top side of the map, but Utopia are staying silent and have been lit.
Oh, but this is great innovation from Kazna crew. They've left Elian all the way down south, and you can see McMoney starting to get a little bit aggressive in the middle.
Good Lord.
If they do spring this trap at the right time, you'll see Utopia just walk straight into it, and McMoney, you know, go down for basically nothing. So Elian actually being slightly aggressive going forwards, just finds out McMoney doesn't quite get the shot in time thanks to that relocation, but it's a good move. He hasn't been spotted, and still Utopia has no idea. And really Utopia just sitting back, waiting for Kazna crew to come forwards, saying, okay, it's like, you've got to show us what you've got, as they do start rotating from north to south.
All right, so again, back towards the south for Kazna crew here. They haven't wasted too much time. They're poking, they're prodding. They're just trying to get as much information as they can. Scalpel and forceps at the ready here. And they want to try and pick apart Utopia as much as possible. They're not going to make it easy for them, though. The Polish, very, very happy to sit back and let Kazna come to them. They have the trap set, of course, and they have McMoney in that epic position in the back corner of the map. So Kazna crew, now they have to get their hands dirty. They have to get rid of him. And it's a great shot to start things up there from, I think, Elian on towards McMoney. That was the trap sprung, and he's already been taken down. That's amazing work. And now FKK Schnitzel and Vetso, they can go for this road. They can now set up. Slowly but surely, they can make their way in towards this center village, and you can see straight away, like clockwork, Kazna now making the move up towards the middle of the map. Eurofish, Hyber, and Isne are going to work in towards that city. With that IS3 down already, they have the overmatch if they can bring their tanks to bear in the right way. Yeah, Papa backing away.
This is going really well for Kazna crew. They got the zero line, which is exactly what they need. The two options they have right now is either just going into that gap, saying Utopia, you have to come to us, or just you pushing that advantage forward, pushing into that right side, using the fact that they've taken down two tanks to actually get the overmatch, just to get the damage done and to take down Utopia brutally.
Eurofish and Wicked trade evenly, back and forth. Shulky now in a position to get some shots done on. He does. He takes one himself, though. And Elian now pushing forward on towards Muka. He's out for blood here. He wants to unload those shots and get him down. There goes Shulky. He gets disintegrated there, and Eurofish gets the finish on him. That's a 5100 off the map here. Elian, though, might soon find a similar fate. Is awaiting him. He was looking for Muka. Got a lot of damage taken off him, and now he has to reload. Papa isn't looking at him right now. The finish, though, does come out from Papa. Utopia now, but they're running out of tanks. They don't have the health for this one either. Hyper pushing forward now. Vetsa takes out Hunter Zord, and Wicked now is going to be surrounded. Kazna crew, they've done it. They've broken the curse. They've done it. They've gotten that monkey off their back, and they've gotten themselves a attacking round, a win on Ruinberg.
Yeah, Papa's trying to run away, you know, take that clock down as far as possible. But FKK Schnitzel will almost certainly win this duel, as he is far, far ahead in terms of HP. Any second now, it will be game of 115 damage per shell from that T-37. Does start to add up, as it does, as Papa is the last one to fall for Utopia. 3-0 scoreline currently in favor of Kazna.
FKK Schnitzel getting his moment in the sun there as well, getting the finish on that game. And great work there to Kazna crew. They got the attacking round here, and it's very straightforward on Ruinberg here. It's not super complex. You're always looking for what the attacking team is trying to do.
Yeah.
What were the adaptations that Kazna crew made on this attacking side that worked out? Why did this work out?
I think, first of all, overarching kind of theme for Kazna crew is that they were very patient. I think very patient. I think a lesser team would have gone, okay, we're up north, let's just push up north, see what happens. But when Kazna crew didn't connect those blind shots, didn't do any damage there, didn't, you know, get a kill, and they had Elian down south, you know, as a constant kind of turret for Kazna crew to go forwards. They just thought, okay, we're going to use Elian, the 263 penetration on the MX-5100 SA-47. Punish McMoney, he's already on half HP. He's like the weak, you know, he's the way in for Kazna crew. He's the weakness there, because they've already taken him down to 50%. And then it's super simple stuff from Kazna crew. Push the IS-3s, which have been sitting in that middle road, in towards that right side. Use the overmatch, use the fact that they've done a lot of damage already, and also Utopia have a few tanks up north, which won't really be able to help out as long as you're on the right side of that middle central road. So great little play here from Kazna crew, very textbook stuff, no real mistakes. And I got to say as well, Elian with that selfless play in the middle of that 5100 to bring down the IS-3 as low as possible for his team, then to go on and finish him off.
That was it. That one play there was where the map changed. So, you know, before that point, Kazna crew were always going to be under threat by that tank being up in the corner there, McMoney and the IS-3, and now they push on. This is all they did. Push towards the middle of the map, Potomako getting caught out, and they essentially were evenly matched here. They pushed in though, and there was a lot of good focus firing towards Shukyu as well. He dropped down very quickly, and they got rid of him super early, and Elian was sort of left free to try and take it on an IS-3 and just be a distraction of his own. Yeah,
Elian was really good this match. I mean, the guy's a beast, just taking down Mucker as quickly as possible. Shukyu as well. You know, you want to be getting rid of the 5100s before they can unload all 6 shells. So you basically negate them completely from the game, make them 100% useless. So great play from Kazna crew. Now, it's very, very rare to win all 4 rounds. I think we've only seen it once this season on Ruinberg. So, you know, can Kazna be that second team?
Well, I mean, that is the question, isn't it, Melly? I mean, the votes are coming in thick and fast. I'm getting people saying to me in chat, 5-1, 5-0 for Kazna.
That's exactly what the vote displays. I just had a closer look on the entries of our audience, and it's always surrounding 5-1, 5-2 with 90% for Kazna crew. So people at home have already decided this match is going to Kazna from the point of the audience.
Yeah, crazy confidence. Not only are they calling Kazna the victor, but by such a big margin as well. It says a lot about their fan base, Ollie.
Exactly. I mean, Kazna crew are definitely home favourites. They've been around for so long. Everyone knows Kazna crew from Clan Wars and all the other kind of things that go around World of Tanks, not just the esports scene, but the general community scene. They're definitely people to watch out for. Definitely check out their Twitch channel, twitch.tv /Kazna TV. They stream on there quite regularly, and also their YouTube channels is a great thing to check out. But early damage now, going out for Kazna crew using those double bushes with the MX-1390 and T-54 just to get the early punishment onto McMoney.
This is great work here. I mean, even Shukyu got tracked up there by Elian and took a bit of damage in the process. McMoney is super low. Kazna crew have read into Utopia's strategy perfectly. McMoney will still get into that sort of bottom corner, but he will be low, and you better believe that Elian's going to be looking straight at him. He's going to be looking for that shot. He's still got 2 in the chamber. He's already done a heck of a lot of damage in this game, and Kazna crew, positionally, I mean, you know, if we're talking chess pieces, Kazna crew are at a huge advantage.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised Elian's not just reloading and just going for the final push against McMoney. You can see that Utopia definitely a lot more aware of the fact that McMoney is a weak point. And to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Kazna just, you know, go for the same thing twice. Once they have Vetso off reload on that MX-1390, I think you could probably even see a push up north with the IS-3s in the middle. You see you got Eurofish and Hyber there. Nexus actually one heading around. He's going to be going maybe just to be a bit of bait for his team. You know, just say, okay, we are rotating. You know, we aren't down south, we're north, and make Utopia think that they're in a completely different position. But Elian, with that blind shot, doesn't exactly help. Yeah,
no, misses two there. Not able to connect. You saw the Tracer whizzing over the head of McMoney, so it's going to be a little bit longer before he gets taken out of position. Papa's tracked up. He's going to have to get out of here very quickly. Hyber, I think it was Isne putting shots in towards him. Oh, well, crippling him pretty much. There's not much Papa can do now. He has to be super careful, and he's going to back right away with his tail in between his legs.
Yeah, I don't think Utopia knew those two IS-3s were there, and Papa, he just exposed himself a little bit.
They should know that by now.
Just one part of his tank, you know, outside of that bush. It's got a, you know, bush provides more camo than it does as a rent, like how it looks, you know. It's about a half a meter or something, like less than that.
Yeah, it doesn't look overly substantial as cover, but it does function in that way quite well.
Yeah, but it's not just that, you know, the camo value from the bush, like the 20 to 30 to 40%, it goes beyond the size of the bush in the game. You know, it's slightly bigger, the circle of camouflage, so you've got to keep that in mind as well. And, well, let's see what Kazna crew can do. They're a massive advantage, 2,000 hit points ahead. And McMoney is a one-shot for basically everything, including FKK Schnitzel. Elian, though, is on reload, so they'll all have to wait. As you see those T-54 lightweights, AMX 1390s, counter-rotate again down from the north to south. I think they were kind of waiting, you know, setting up a trap against the normal kind of northern rotation from the LTTBs or the MX or the T-54s you see a lot of the defensive teams do mid-round.
Yeah, it might even have been FKK Schnitzel that put that shot on towards McMoney here. I was just having a look at his model to see where the penetrations were. Nothing on his cupola here, so he's must have got a decent shot anyway. Now he's just forced to sit there for now. Shuki will be able to pick up FKK Schnitzel, who was doing a lot of work for Kazna as that little hornet in the side. And now there it is. There's a finish. McMoney does go down. So Kazna now, this is where it happens. The switch is flicked, and now they move up. Hyber and Eurofish already quite forward here. Going to be joined quite briefly, quite quickly by Isne here, and Hunter's Order is already going to suffer that first shot from Hyber. Wicked takes one as well. Utopia aren't responding. They're not trading here. They're just letting it happen.
A great little exchange there for Kazna crew. I mean, that's like the kind of little trade you don't really think does a lot, but it does add up in the end, and Kazna crew put themselves even more at an advantage as they have got those light tanks in that zero line, and they will be looking to try and close this game out.
Kazna are taking a minimum amount of damage here as they push on in. Yes, Isne took a shot, but Wicked's super low. So is Hunterzord down to half health. Elian now getting aggressive, now coming forward, now gets a finish on towards Hunterzord. He's looking for Papa. Shukyu is there as well. Elian goes very, very low. He will go down to Shukyu there, his opposite number, but still the damage is done. Vetso pushes up, takes out Papa. That's a gun out of the game. Important fact there. And Shukyu is just reloading between those shells. He misses an important one on towards Vetso, and Utopia are falling apart at the seams. As I said, forceps and scalpel. Thank you, Doctor. And they are just opening this one up. Wicked and Mucker sitting behind that building there. Isne gets the kill on towards Wicked. Mucker low. It will be in a moment anyway. And there's just Potomako in the middle of the city. This is it. Kazna crew have done it. The 4-0 on Ruinberg. I mean, very weak game from them in the last time against Supreme, but they're making a statement here. They are saying that was just a glitch, and they are here to play serious tanks.
The 4-0 mythical creature has arrived. Kazna crew have delivered a great performance on Ruinberg, and Potomako, the last one remaining. To be fair, I mean, their clock is pretty low. Kind of surprised Potomako isn't just running into A1 or K1 to try and make this timer go down to 0, but still he knows it's over, and Nexus will just be trying to secure that kill.
Yeah, I mean, like, he probably feels a bit more like Potato Mako right now. There's only so much he can really do in this scenario. He's not super useful on his own as an LTTB. Thanks, Melly, appreciate that one. Right, like Potato Mako. 3v1, 464 points of health left. The base capture is underway, and Potomako is going to back away here. Any extra seconds that he can buy his team to do some strategizing, to do some, do some thinking about their next games will be important, because this is going to be rough for them here. To bring it back from a 0-4 has never happened yet. No, we talked about that.
It definitely hasn't happened, and it's a very unlikely event. But Vetso is looking to try and finish this one off, and he does. He gets the ram. Potomako, last one remaining to fall for Utopia. And Kazna crew, as we were talking, 4-0 scoreline on Ruinberg, unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, and Vetso said in his interview, we know what Utopia do. We know how they play. We need to punish them quickly, and very suitable there as well that Vetso to get the finishing kill of that one. Running in with the ram, a lot of damage done, and they're definitely sending a statement as well. Kazna crew, they want people to know that they're here and they're serious about it. Yes, losing the Supreme is tough for them. Kazna crew have had difficulties online. It's not their their best place to play. It's not their element, you know what I mean? It's always been a bit tougher for them, and conversely, it's always been a bit easier, I guess, for, GGWP, Supreme teams like that.
Sure.
Kazna need to get themselves to land. They know they must make it through these playoffs. But let's have a look at this replay. Let's break it down, Ollie.
Yeah, so, this is really a story of Kazna Crew just fundamentally pulling apart Utopia. They just chronologically just rip them to shreds. Every single molecule of Utopia just gets shut down, torn up, and thrown into the garbage. As you can see, Shuku missing his shots against Vet. So, Kazna Crew, they come for every single side, shock and awe, straight in there into the faces of Utopia with the timing, with the positioning. Great stuff. And Utopia just sitting back, waiting for Kazna to come forwards, not winning the exchanges, not really doing anything. You can see Potomako is the only one who provides any sort of assistance to his team, any kind of hope for his team. He did do a total of 2.2k damage in that round. Kazna Crew's Nexus doing 2,000 in his T54. So really, honestly, I mean, we can't really ask for very much more as Kazna Crew just dismantle Utopia.
Absolutely. It's been a clinical deconstruction here as well. And when you go into these games as well and look at their performances, Kazna 5-3, Utopia 4-5, Kazna obviously a game behind still, you're thinking, okay, like this should be close, ostensibly, melee. This should be close. Both of these two teams have been, super close on the ladder, but their fans is always super confident. 5-1, 5-0, and well, so far it's working out that way.
Well, 5-3s have been predicted fairly often as well.
I said that myself.
But as said, 90% for Kazna Crew speaks for itself. And people, if you haven't voted yet, now's your time to get involved. Head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/WGLEU, to get your votes through to us, to tell us how do you think this match will go. And currently, as said, Kazna Crew, the heavy favor, 4-0 in the lead in advance. And we talked about that earlier, and I think not a single team has managed to come back from a 4-0 deficit this season. But who knows? Penta did it from a 3-1. Why Utopia can't make it from a 4-0, right? Well, if not, tell me I'm wrong. Use the hashtag WGLEU. I'm waiting for your tweets. But, well, what do I know? You guys are the experts. So get involved. Our social media channels are up and waiting for you. People, get involved, as said. And we already have enough pictures on Facebook, on our Twitter feed popping up. So search for the hashtag WGLEU.
We can't show
I'm
that
not
one,
talking about that one. No.
We can't show that one.
No, yes. But you can see yourself. Search for the hashtag WGLE to see what we're talking about. People will be heading into a short break, and we'll be back with the second map of Utopia versus Kazna Crew, Steps.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for once again joining us here at the WGL EU Week 10, day number 1. And what a contrast we have between our first 2 games of the day. The first was a tiebreaker. It was close. It was neck and neck. And here in our second, we have Kazna Crew 4-0 up against Utopia.
Yeah, completely contrasting games. Pretty interesting. I didn't even think about that one, yeah. At the moment, after Rurenberg, Kazna 4-0 scoreline, totally unheard of. Of course, you know, Rurenberg, a very defensively biased map, I guess you could call it. So really, they are in the most perfect position they could ask for after the hardest map to play. Going into steps, not a particularly strong map for Kazna Crew, like 25% win ratio. They had a bad result against Ding recently as well, whilst Utopia sitting about 50% wins on this map. So yeah, okay, this is the better map for Utopia and it's their pick, but being at such a deficit will make it very hard for them to win.
You've got to ask as well, are Utopia tilting? I mentioned this at the start of the game. In that last match, in that last round, Potomacco got the highest damage on Utopia with 2,240 damage. On the LTTB, the closest tank on his team was the i3 Wicked with 1,219, and they were the only 2 tanks with more than 1,000 damage on the side of Utopia. They got crushed.
They got wrecked.
I don't know. Melly, what are your thoughts on this one as well? It's hard to come back from this kind of deficit, to be the first team, to get 0 forward on
one hell of a
Rurenberg.
comeback if they managed to do it, but...
Yeah, the comeback is nearly impossible, but I was close to making that horse puking in front of the pharmacy reference again. Yes, people, German sayings are awesome. And yes, Kazna Crew, a bit shaky last match days, but now solid as ever. Just a great performance. Just rushing through I don't know what else to say, just rushing through the map, taking down tank by tank, deciding rounds, as they haven't done anything wrong the past days. People, get your opinions through. Use the hashtag WGLE to communicate with us via Twitter to make sure that we can see the tweets you're tweeting, and also get involved in our vote. Our vote will close as soon as we head into the second map, which is Steps. And which choice was it? Do you know?
It was Utopia's choice.
Okay, so maybe we'll see some game from Utopia. I hope for you guys and for us as well, because we love exciting games. But get your predictions through to us, and yes, 91% for Kazna Crew. Oh no, please no.
Please
don't.
no. Please, I know what's coming. Just get the pain over with. Just kill me now.
Steroids is getting back at Ollie, I think, for being a little bit critical of his play.
For the last 48 hours, I've just been receiving these kind of tweets.
But that's my body.
I was wondering who that was. I was wondering who that was, but that blazer is unmistakably Melly. So
yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew.
I like the inclusion of the hair as well. It looks good.
I mean, you look like a German Turkish comedian.
Yeah?
Like a Turkish comedian which
Thank you very much.
does comedy in German.
Oh, comedian does comedy.
Right. In German. He's speaking German.
Yeah,
the Turkish comedian.
Yeah, see, Ollie tries. I think the comedy in Ollie's German is that as bad, more so than the jokes he's making.
I don't get his humor. I think he has none. That's the problem.
All right.
But yeah, Bülent Ceylan looks exactly like you.
You don't get my humor because it's sarcasm, and Germans don't understand sarcasm.
No, that's
or
so
any
true.
kind of humor in general.
Sarcasm is different.
If you try and be sarcastic with the Germans, they're just going to get insulted. So
do they?
No point. Yeah. Just look at you like
look, puzzled. He didn't get it.
No, I did get it.
Mitch did it.
I was talking.
Lauren says you look like you're wearing a wig, by the way. Thanks, Patsy.
Yeah.
I wish
I had a set of hair like that.
I could pull your hair.
Hairstyle, do we? Is that the same?
No, we got the short sides, mate.
Right.
Short back and side. Simple as that.
So it's,
I tried to say short back and side in German to a German haircut.
What did you say?
And they looked at me like I'm an idiot. How can you get that wrong? Short on the back and the sides.
Does it in German?
No, I'm not gonna. I can't remember what it was in.
Like lange und kurze?
Yeah, almost. That's very good, Mitch.
Unter und Seite.
All right, Mitch.
Here we go. I did it. Anyway, on the steps here, of course. Kazna Crew, it is match point. This is Utopia's choice. And let's see if it works out for them here. They're going to have to make it work, and they're going to have to make the next 3 work as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is very hard days for Utopia. You can see they're being aggressive. I think they've kind of thrown caution to the wind. But then again, this is a pretty normal defensive tactic on steps. But you can see Kazna Crew have gone exactly the opposite direction. And if they catch on to the fact that Utopia are on the opposite side of the map, it will be game over, as Kazna Crew will just get control of cap number 2 and will simply wreck Utopia. But at the moment, this actually could go very well for them. They are coming from behind. They might be able to take down Eurofish. They might be able to catch Kazna by surprise.
Eurofish will be, one of the closest tanks, I guess, to this column of Utopia tanks moving forward. And I have to eat my words here, because I said that Utopia, we don't often see them favour that light lineup, but I mean, it is depth, so it kind of requires it. They have gone with that, the heavy 54 lightweight stack here. Let's see if they can make it work. They're always more comfortable on the heavier tanks, the well-armoured tanks, the slower, bigger ones. Let's see what happens here now. Is Matt Money, Shook, you're going to split off here. This is just super aggression. This is just Kazna crew having flashbacks to the World Finals here. Let's see if it works out for them now. Is it just an aggressive team coming towards them? They must nail these shots. They have to focus fire on towards Utopia, or they'll be overrun.
You can see, isn't he actually making good shots on that hill? He's going to really be an awkward position for Utopia to take out. Papa in that tier 7 gets a couple of shells towards him, but you know, Kazna crew really need to react. They need to be fast, they need to be responsive, they need to be able to deal with this unusual tactic from Utopia, because where the Polish team are currently sitting is very, very hard to dig out, and Kazna crew are on attack. So I just expect Kazna to wait for Utopia to come forward, Kazna to wait for Utopia to make that first mistake, and you know, maybe even if that doesn't happen, start to rotate, come from the middle, maybe get control of that cap.
All right, the shot's also going to be coming in from Eurofish. He does nail Papa. You know what? I love the side of his tank. It says accident. Eurofish has got the accident.
And he's got a finished flag.
And a finished flag. He's done work there. Great shot coming out from him. The howitzer of the M44 doing work here. And Papa has been wiped from the face of the map.
Yeah, it's a car crash right now for Utopia. It's really not going well for them. They have to try and reverse back, try and get into a different position, come from a different angle. But they're already down at tier 7, and they are already really at a loss of what to do. I mean, at the moment, Utopia, Australia, and Kazna crew are England in the ashes. They're just getting obliterated, and they really can't do anything about it.
Or conversely, I mean, Kazna crew are Zimbabwe and Utopia, Bangladesh, and Utopia are England in the Cricket World Cup.
That was a long time ago, though. No one really cares. It's all about the ashes.
I care a lot. To be fair, I'll give you that one. I always like to bring up the ashes, but we didn't win it this year, so I can't really use that one. And I'll cop it sweet. Money's getting wrecked here, down towards 8 health. I mean, Mucka is low as well. Potomac has been hammered. The Kazna have just held so solidly here. This has been such a bizarre map. The setups have made no sense. Kazna crew just sat in the south. Eurofish has done work all game, and now Utopia have realised that they have messed up.
Yeah, McMoney will be taken down by Vet, so he just needs to peek over, but Yizny actually does the honours, puts McMoney out of his misery. And again, you know, it's just systematic dismantlement of Utopia is how I would describe it, this one. They're just going through the paces, taking down Utopia left, right and center, winning every peak, winning every situation, and right now it just looks like Utopia don't know what to do, and they've already lost this game, both mentally and also, you know, in the actual gameplay.
You know, we expected a lot more from Utopia here. This is a fundamental choke on multiple levels here, I think, from these guys, and the Polish team, you know, one that we've expected so much from, the one that we've seen so many fantastic performances from now, has just been completely and utterly lackluster in this game. Kazna crew, to get a 5-0 here is good. It's a good start. It bolsters their confidence, but they have to get it against those top teams. They need to continue to make their way up into that top sort of echelon and need to stay there. And that remains to be seen whether it's going to happen or not here. Now, so far, obviously 2 tanks down already for Utopia, and a lot of damage off the rest. Kazna crew now, they have to make a move. They're going to get aggressive here, but they need to be careful about it. Utopia don't have the T-32. They can't just hull over here. If Kazna crew want to go for a cap, they can just draw Utopia out towards them. It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be carnage.
Oh, Huntsword almost gets taken out. Yeah, I mean, this is simple stuff from Kazna crew. They're coming from the north, the easiest side to push, getting themselves together, and they're just going to push in, take down those half HP, 20-30% HP tanks of Utopia, and you know, it'll be game over. Hyber takes a bit of damage on the way through, but he'll be going up to A6, where he has a nice kind of valley to head himself into that right side, as Kazna are just looking to brutally end this.
Yeah, I mean, Hyber's gunner is dead as well. He doesn't have a health kit on that tank, so got to be a little bit harder to make those shots here. You do have brothers in arms, you know, like other members of the tank that sort of chip in and help out there, so it's not that bad. Still not ideal here, but still, Kazna crew looking sharp as they get the shots. They're just chasing Utopia around the field. It's a full-scale retreat from Utopia. A great metaphor for the way the entire series has gone here. Kazna crew bringing the punishment, bringing the pain, bringing the Vetso man at the front of the column. He'll get a shot towards Wicked and duck away to the side.
Yeah, Eurofish is just doing so much work. He lands that kill onto Wicked. That's 2 kills this round for him. He's just an absolute beast in that artillery. Great to see him. You know, when he was playing for Spala, he was also the artillery player, and he's just fantastic. Mucka will get rammed to death. That's an embarrassing way to end end your match against Kazna Crew by being rammed. Shukyu does take down Eurofish, you know, a little bit of consolement for Utopia, but it's not going to be a lot since Kazna do look like they're on the cusp of winning 5-0 against a top 5 team.
That's right. Utopia, they're up against it, and they will fall, not with a mighty roar, but with a little whimper as they are run over the top of by Kazna Crew in a very uninspiring performance. And, well, Kazna Crew have done it here. It's fairly straightforward as well. Don't even need a replay for that one. You saw what happened. It was pretty scrappy. It was a bit of a mess here. I mean, the initial push from Utopia flat out didn't work out, and we want to know why.
Well, I mean, the thing is they didn't do anything with it. They just stopped. And Kazna Crew just got themselves into good positions. Yizny was also in a good position, you know. Kazna always one step ahead. That's the whole impression I got. Kazna Crew were always in a position where, okay, if Utopia does a weird push or something, they could deal with it. And also, your Eurofish really coming in with that kill against the WZ131 helped a lot. I mean, just looking through the damage, Eurofish didn't do a lot. He did 1.1k, but 2 frags to his name, and you know, a very convincing walkover for Kazna Crew. Once again, Nexus doing great work in this T54, 1.6k. But you know, there's not a lot to analyze there. It's a bit, you know, a disappointing match for me because I did think that would be a lot closer. Looking at what Utopia's been able to do this season, even comparing that to last season, Season 5, where Utopia were good up until Christmas, and then they lost the match, and then they went all the way down to the bottom again, and you know, had to play in those relegations, which of course they lost. So for me, super disappointing matchup. I thought it'd be a lot closer, but the 3 points necessary for Kazna Crew to go to the playoffs have been secured.
That's right, and they're happy to take those ones away, I'm sure, here to try and recover, I guess, from some of the rougher matches of this season. 5-0, we don't see many of them. We don't see them that often, especially not between two teams so closely matched, at least on paper, Melly. But Kazna Crew have done it. 5-0. I don't even know if some of the most hardcore fans would have predicted that scoreline.
I don't know. We saw a lot of 5-1, 5-2, and 5-3 predictions, but very rare 5-0 entries, actually. I can check in a minute to see if actually someone got it. Oh, quite a few. Okay. I was right. But still under around 8% guessed that it's going to be a 5-0. Right. But overall, 91% for Kazna Crew is solid. And people, that match is over. Don't worry, you still have one chance to get your hands on one of those bonus codes we give out throughout those team votes. Head over to facebook.com/WGLEU. There you will find the next team vote for the third match of the night, and it will be Tornado Rocks versus No Mercy. And the only thing you have to do is to click on your favorite's team logo, predict the exact scoreline in the text field below, send your vote off, and hope for the best. And don't steal my notes, Ollie.
#WGLEU.
Yes, that's what I showed Mitch.
To try and show me, because I was he tried to do this to me.
I did this, and he just there was a plain question mark in his face, so I drew something nice.
It's nice,
and I have notes on it.
It's a nice hashtag. I'll give you that.
I already
play whatever it was called, Connect 4 or Hopscotch or whatever it's called.
Right, thank you guys. Let's have a look at the table here and see where our teams are. As Holly's tried to hijack this one.
What is it called again when you're playing that game?
Noughts and crosses.
Noughts and crosses.
There we go. Okay, so with that result, Kazna Crew move up into 4th above Synergy. Yeah,
I mean, Kazna were 5th place. They just move above Synergy in this one. It's not a big difference, but I think, you know, 19 points. It's a nice, comfortable position to be in. I mean, I'm sure they would like to be 3rd, but to be fair, I mean, you're talking about 19 points where 15 points for Utopia because they lost. It's quite a significant result. I think Utopia just stay in 6th place by the smallest of margins.
All right, and of course, let's take some time to relax here and just have a breathe. Because of course, our next match coming up is going to be Tornado Rocks going up against No Mercy. That's going to be an interesting one here as well. 2nd place versus 12th place. Rocks are 7-2. No Mercy are 1-8. Do we have another mismatch on our hands here?
Well, technically, just on paper, this should be a walkover for Tornado Rocks. They've been so good this season. I mean, I've really enjoyed them. I have to say, it's been one of my favorite stories to follow. You know, the Tornado Rocks story from polite people patience, understanding, work, commitment, and skill brings you the results. And, you know, no mercy with that one win this season. It's going to be a tricky match for them, for sure.
Absolutely, of course. And important to point out, in their last game, Positive got 50% more damage than the entire rest of his team. He has been a beast right now. We'll be interested to see how he performs. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back soon, of course, with our last game of the night. Tornado Rocks going up against the Poles. No mercy. It's going to be a big one. Do not miss it.